The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WACK 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WACK 90.1 FM. The living room, casual conversations on serious topics.
Any morning, put a saltfish picture on me tombstone saying saltfish.
Today is the birthday of the man, the mighty Sparrow. Sorry?
I say that is what going on.
That is what's going on. So I had to make sure and start off the program playing one from the mighty Sparrow.
I really thought it was a little bit of rainfall. You started getting a zone.
Brother man, the sun has been hot all day. No rain fell anywhere except if it was French tears.
That's what went on.
Yes, French tears.
Okay.
Right. Let's kick off this program first and foremost, as we always do, all right? Must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gifts of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, must say thank you to those that went before us, and we are not just talking about our ancestors, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago,
Right.
but we are also talking about Tony P, where the P this week stands for
Fitness.
what?
Physical fitness here.
Okay, thank you.
Come on.
All right. And there's no time wasting this afternoon because we are joined by a young man who I would have met at a Ministry of Youth Development event at Naprima Bowl
Right.
in San Fernando. After that meeting him at that event, I began to follow him on social media and realized that he was involved with the youth, which is something that I'm very passionate about, youth development.
Yeah.
And just fittingly, he's affiliated with the Minister of Youth Development, Mr. Foster Cummings. So
Right.
in with us this evening. Well, he has other roles that he plays, which I'm going to let him tell you about because I don't want to make any mistakes. Because beside a fitness enthusiast, right? That's fitness, right? He is a man of the people. I think that's the best way to describe him, a man of the people.
Right.
So sitting in with us inside the living room this evening is the one, the only Mr. Kwasi Robinson.
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon, Aaron. Good afternoon, Ricardo.
Yeah, good evening.
I am grateful to be here. Thank you very much for that lovely introduction. And my name is Kwasi Robinson. I am currently a program coordinator at the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. And good afternoon to my Minister Foster Cummings.
Right. So Kwasi, we're gonna ask you probably the hardest question you're gonna get here today.
Tell me.
We do ask our listeners, where's the scene, Jelly Bean? What is the gist physicist? Or what's the word hummingbird?
Wow.
We ask our guests, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Happy to be alive and happy to be of service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So it's an honor to be here in South. It's nostalgic coming back to this studio because in addition to all the rules that I have now, which is a program coordinator at the Ministry of Youth and the P&M social media officer, a father and a husband, my first profession was actually a music producer.
Really?
So one of the first radio stations to play I Sasha Don't You Know
Right.
was WACK, because the first time we had it mixed and mastered we attempted to have it mixed and mastered by Kenny Phillips. Of course it was a rubbish production and he didn't even take our money. We were recording on a horrible mic, jacking into a cable to fit in the back of a computer. We came to Kenny for the advice and to have a mix it, and so this is a full circle for me because I would have come here that would be about 19 years ago now.
Wow.
17 years ago.
No, that song you're talking, there's a big tune, huh?
Yeah.
Hands down, it's a huge tune.
But I mean, we recorded it about 3 or 4 times before we eventually, several times before we eventually put it out. And so at the time, I was heavily involved in music production, and the company was Studio 53, which Angelo, Sharon, and I, and Jabari, who's in studio with me, we all were part of it. And we came down here with a full carload from Lahokata. I'm excited, thinking that we're going to conquer the world and run back up the most deflated teenagers you would have ever seen. But it was lovely advice. We took the advice from Kenny. We recorded the song, and of course, the rest is history, as they say. So it's lovely history here.
And I'm going to say Ricardo has his own hate affair with Kenny and
Listen,
his teaching methods.
This man has deflated the inner teenager within me, you know.
No, you're rough.
Last week, you know.
You're you're rough. However, I can say that it was important for me, and throughout my life, that has always been a recurring theme where I'm very excited and energetic and passionate about what I do. And sometimes it's important for our elders to tell us, the energy is important, but also the craft is also important, and to go and do it. And Kenny really did that for us. And of course, it would have been important to our journey because you see the success that brand had after.
Yeah, Studio 53 was a pillar on the local music scene. I think that would have been like, let's say, late 90s, early 2000s, when the local reggae became...
So, let me just, for some perspective on that, I went into formal in 1998, 1999. So, when you're talking late reggae, when you're talking late 90s and pillar, we were all going to school. So, Jabari had just finished St. Augustine, and I was attending Holy Cross still. So, of course, that same energy is what we put into all the work that we do. So, it's a history of energy and passion for people.
Now, the first thing I want to know, and we have to start at Adam to an extent, how did you decide to get involved, not just with the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, but so involved with youth in general?
So I grew up in Lahokata, and that's the biggest housing development in the English-speaking Caribbean. So my house number is my lot number is in the 9,000s. So I have 5,000 housing units, 4,500, 5,000 housing units there. It's a really large community, and I was blessed to have some significant neighbors and family. So my family was involved in community things, but my neighbors were one particular man, Mr. Vivian Phillip, was very well-read. A well-read man, grew up in Black Panther kind of energy, so well-read, University at Oxford, and he used to always ask me who I was going to represent. Because, when you're young and you're smart man, and who you're going to represent. And he kept asking me that question repeatedly. And then there was Mr. Leonard Lira, who was a arranger. So I grew up in steel band. And so a tuner, arranger, father, and then drill master, arranger, and that kind of stuff. So in that space, you have people who are urban intellectuals. So they don't go to university, but well-read people and urban libraries. And so they always used to ask me, you're bright, but who you're going to represent and what you're going to do for your people. And I guess repeatedly asking that question, I was involved in music, and I got a laptop from my uncle. He came up from Japan, plain pan, brought a laptop for us, and meet up with Jabari, and we realized that we want to do music. And of course I had a music background from the steel band, and so it was always, people always ask me, is community is important. So at that age, 14, 15, 16, being involved in managing the pan side, and you get to understand how critical it is for people to step up from communities to represent where you're from and just try to do better. That's how I got involved in the youth and community stuff. When we recorded persons, it was majority of people we were recording. And then I went on to be involved in event promotion, carnival. So it was always a graduation from one type of service to the next.
Wow. That is beautiful. That community is a significant contributor, no doubt. Yeah. But the direction that the community points you in is something else entirely. And so to hear who are you going to represent, it actually reminded me of maybe about 15 or about 20 years ago, could be, when I was still fiddling with the idea of being an author.
Yeah.
You know, I like words, I like to write, so I'm going to be a writer.
Words important.
And as a local artist by the name of Makemba Nunley took a look at some of my reading as a favor.
From Bartaria?
Yeah. He took a look at
Slim
early
brown
draft.
skin guy?
Yeah, massive fro.
Yeah. Paintings out in the porch and
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
That spot is a nexus for creative energy.
Yeah.
And you know, he made one significant comment that shifted me in terms of just the way that I thought. He was like, you have a very Eurocentric style of writing.
Yeah.
And at the time I didn't appreciate how important that sense of, well, are you going to represent your identity with your expression?
Yeah.
So to hear you say that now is like, I get it. You know, you need somebody to point you in the direction.
Yeah, I think it's critical for us to understand that we must represent somebody. And sometimes, even if it's just representing yourself in a better way, you know, even if the challenge that you're taking up is to represent yourself in a better way, then I think we should do that. Because we all make mistakes along the way. And so, some of us have to represent everyone, and others just have to represent ourselves and improving ourselves. So it's always a whole journey.
Well, I'm glad that I am the 9,748 person to follow your profile, and I'm going to stay there.
You know that number real well, boy.
I understand now. I get it.
So
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, so it's always been community, and the difficult thing about choosing to represent a community is that you'll never be able to fulfill everybody's want and need.
Yeah.
But you have to, as one of my other mentors said, Ray Braffett, you have to take that monkey off your back when you get home and just, you know, understand that you tried your best today and tomorrow you go again and tomorrow you try to help, and you know, and it's important to also have perspective with that.
As we jokingly say inside the living room here, you're not boneless goat roti. You can't please everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
Your personal preference, but boneless duck roti, something's hanging off there though.
Nah, boneless dog
breast,
roti.
duck breast.
I'm not going to say that made with love.
Yeah, duck breast only. That's very hard to, yeah.
That roti is about $78.
And how did you get involved with the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service?
So I have been friends and worked under Minister Cummins at the level of the constituency. I was a councillor there, and I went on to be the chairman of the Tunapuna Corporation. Of course, he is just one of the many MPs that I worked with, but I played a significant role in that constituency because I'm from there. So he was representing somewhere where I was happy that he was representing, being from Lahokita. And so when my term ended as chairman, it was important for me to find a space to continue to do the work, and of course he gave me the opportunity. And once he gave me that opportunity at the ministry, just continue to work, because it's just a continued progression and graduation of delivery and working. So yeah, Minister Cummins, my friend and colleague, is very important, and his leadership for me is important, because I think every step of the way you have to continue to seek out people to guide you and to help you grow, because I think that's the only way. And even if, as I tell you, the people in my community who guided me was a tail and a pant, you know, just for perspective.
Yeah.
And so at different stages in your life you need different people, and so I think as it is now, Minister Cummins is a guiding light for me and also many of the nation's young people.
Can I go and say that? One of the main things that drew me to wanting to bring you here is the fact that the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, not only the programs that they offer, but the entertainment aspects and avenues that they offer as well. The first time I've ever met you in person was at the show, the talent show expo, I don't know what to call it, at Naprima Bowl.
So that there was a youth caravan and youth on stage.
Yes, youth on stage.
Correct. And so yeah, that's the brainchild of Minister Cummins and a colleague who would say also Endale Young. So they came up with that, and so we have a wonderful team at the ministry. Many young persons. So the young people who work at the Ministry of Youth. And so we collaborate, we share ideas, and of course we reach out to young people, because if you want to get young people to come, you have to do things to attract them. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that we go in and keep possess.
Right.
But at the same time, we could have done things to attract them. Positive things to attract them. Because some of us believe that young people are only attracted to negative. I don't believe that. And so, yeah, we do that, and the place in Aquarium Bowl was full.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And the biggest uproar for that night came from, I think, was Jarnus.
Right. I mean, the man is an excellent performer.
Yeah.
And we share similar ethos. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Jared, big up
And
Jared is blessed.
So beside the youth on stage and the different youth caravans that we see with the trucks driving around, the pop-up shops that I know you all would have had one on Harris Promenade sometime last
year.
year.
That's the caravan, correct. Yeah.
Right? Beside the caravan and the youth on stage, what other programs does the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service currently have operating?
So we're close to 30 programs. I think the number at present is 27. Today we have launched PIPE, which is a program in partnership with the Plumbing Association of Trinidad and Tobago, WASA, and the MYDNS, teaching people about to become plumbers, both residential and commercial level plumbers, and to get a CVQ certification. So that was launched today. We currently have an intake for a program called Fuse, which is linesman clearing and those type of works. We have the Youth in Agriculture suite of programs, which is Shade House, which is like greenhouse technology. Those farms are in Tucker Valley. Yesterday we'd have given out 157 license to occupy for 2-acre plots to young people where they get into farm. And then we have the youth aquaculture, which they're doing aquaculture, farming fish for production. These 3 programs are designed to reduce the food import bill and to give us access to healthier food locally. And also we have an agent stock of farmers and entrepreneurship. So those programs touch on about 5 or 6 of the national development goals. And then we have projects like UTech, which doing some of the barber and the nail tech, makeup art. And so as it's 27 programs, it's a lot. And so we continue to find ways to reach out to the young people. We have Amplify, which teaches photography, music production, those products. So we continue to develop. We have MyLat, MyPart, which are military-led programs, CCC, and we continue to find ways to deliver to the young people and also reach out to them.
Now, if Ricardo would allow me here, one of the things that I have to applaud, it's what we would call the non-conventional methods of education, right? Because admittedly in Trinidad and Tobago, there's a problem where I call it the LED education system. Lawyer, engineer, doctor. That is what everybody's want to channel the child into, be a LED. But we have to openly accept that, you see, the channels, plumbing, the electrician, farming, be it in terms of greenhouse farming or aquaculture farming, to pronounce hydroponics and the fishing and all these different things. Those are also viable fields that you could get your children involved in. And through the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, there are programs. And what's the cost of these programs?
Free, and some of them give stipend and other benefits. So in the Youth Agricultural Homestead program, which is based in Chatham, they get the 2 acres of land, license to occupy free, and then once you complete the year and we know you're productive, then you get a 30-year lease. You get a house and a starter home from LSA and $20,000 to start. And while I was training for the year with UTT, you get the certificate also, you got a stipend. So, and that's 1,000 2-acre lots we're trying to give away in the next year. So the program started 2 years ago, going on 3 years, and the ministry continues to deliver. That program manager is Anisha Bish. The program will have been started by Garshel Edwards, and she's now the manager of National Service. So we continue to help the minister achieve his objectives. He was put there by the Prime Minister to achieve our objective to impact the youth and to create opportunities for them, and we all continue to do that and do it to the best of our ability. And it's not every day we will be successful, but every day we try to move one step closer to our goal.
So Wait, question for the sake of this conversation, is Mr. Robinson, is
Kwasi.
Kwasi is fine?
Kwasi.
Right, Kwasi, as the eldest person in the room here, I do have a question. I do have a question for you. At what age do y'all is youth?
10 to 35, so I'm out too. I'm 36 years old.
I'm out too.
36.
So after 35, you no longer considered a youth.
According to our national youth policy.
All right. So anything I am now is not youth again, is early onset.
I wouldn't say that. All I'm saying is say not youth.
I'm not youth.
Yeah.
And the grace premature, I don't let them fool you. But, all right, so 35. If you're a 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 19-year-old, 22-year-old, 28-year-old, and you still haven't figured out what you want to do, the direction you want to go, there are options available.
Yeah, and so I tell young people also, you don't want to always figure out what you want to do. First, let me start off by deciding what you're not going to do. So let me start off with that. Let me decide what you're not going to do. You're not going to become a negative element in society. Once you decide that, the state has arms that allow you to find opportunities. The Ministry of Youth is one. The Ministry of Agriculture have programs. They have extension education programs every month. You have some of the regional corporations that have local economic development. So they have Paula Gopi School, Minister Paula Gopi School, at the Ministry of Trade and Industry. They have grants there also. Even if you live in a property that requires some improvement, through the Ministry of Housing, there's LSA run by the Honorable Kwasi Robinson Regis and Adrian Leons. So there are those LSA, what's it called, HVIP houses, below body houses. And so once you decide that you're not going to be a negative element, there are opportunities. So sometimes young people meet me and say, well, I applied for this program and didn't get through. And any program we put out, most times we have oversubscription. So for the YAP program, we're taking 200 people per cohort, and sometimes we have 1,500 applications. So obviously everybody wouldn't get through. But once you decide that you're not going to be a negative element, there are other things available to you. But that's the first decision you need to make. You'll figure out if you want to be a farmer but just decide that, because I agree with Aaron where he said there's a LED belief, but with that too, I agree with that.
Thanks for using it.
Yeah.
I just wanted somebody else to use it. That mean it catch.
So it catch. I like the LED, but I also wanted to tell, the people who are listening to, we should want the best for our children. And if we think that the best is a LED, then that's fine. There's no issue with that. The issue is that if they're not successful at that doesn't mean they can't be successful at life. So we have to understand that it's okay to want a child to be the best that you think they could be. But if they don't make that, then we need to understand that there are other opportunities.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, with all the firestorms happening right now online with tailors, the program that people getting the suit late and all them kind of confusion with suits, there's plenty of firestorm at graduation and all kind of heat in the place right now with graduation and stuff. There are opportunities at UTT for fashion and that kind of stuff too. I'm not sure when the program happening now, but I remember that would have been 3 years ago when they started, 3 or 4 years ago when they started that fashion, made the investment and expanded that fashion program. So I think there are always opportunities, and I could tell you, a well-made local suit is fetch a pretty penny.
Yeah. I can attest to that.
Yes, it's a lot. So I'm saying there are opportunities for positive energy and upliftment in the country, and we just need to continue to speak it.
And now, you are not the first person that I've tried to get on this program to discuss what avenues there are that the government offers, right? Because I know the Ministry of Community Development also they have a lot of programs offering and
sports,
So part of what I am trying to do is show persons that, okay, you may not wholeheartedly support the government, but there are avenues that you can utilize that can help you. There are programs being offered to help you.
And I think people also need to separate, if I like something and is it good for me? So even if you don't like the government, there are things that the government is doing that are good for you. It is good for you. And so for as much as you may not like us, because I am a supporter of the government and I'm a member of the party, I'm on the party's executive and social media officer. As even if somebody doesn't like me, I have to do things that will benefit them, and I also need them to understand that even though you may not like me, there are still opportunities for you. Because as a country and as a government, we need to bring the analogy to DJs. You need to play music for people who don't like you either. Because everybody ain't gonna like any party.
Right.
But yeah, you're playing music for everybody. And so we had to play music for everybody. I mean, I would like for people to dance. And when I say dance, I mean just get involved and sign up. It's okay if you don't like me. But we have opportunities for you.
Yeah.
Now, for persons like Ricardo and I, for example, who are past that youth policy age, as you just highlighted to
Social
us.
development pension.
Wow. Right? Who just passed the age? We're 36,
I'm 36,
right?
yeah.
How could we get involved to volunteer within the program to render our time to develop the youth and teach the youth?
So it depends on how you see yourself supporting. So like for example, right now we are doing the WACK program, which is Retirees Adolescents Partnership Program. So these are for retirees, and we also take in volunteers. So if you retire,
Thank you.
So if you retire, you come back and become a mentor, tutor for the young people, the adolescents, and then we need center managers. If you have an NGO in the community, you could sign up. That program is currently being advertised. So if you go on MYDNS.gov, right, you'll see the program there. So there's the WACK program, there's the CAP, where younger people go and provide support to the older society. So we have both sides of it. We have WACK and then CAP, and then for other programs like the Amplify, the Youth on Stage, the Caravan, even if in the Caravan. So on the Caravans, when we go around, and you all can contact the youngest, find them on Instagram or contact the ministry. There's usually some business expo part of it. So when you come into the community, we allow people to sell from the community if you're doing whatever type of products you're doing. So there are various levels where you could, and even, well, the nominations would have closed for National Youth Awards. But like you say, you could have nominated people in your community to win a national award. And so we go into the National Youth Convention, which is in September, I believe, and then there's National Youth Week. So there are multiple opportunities to continue to partner with the ministry and throughout all government agencies. And so currently we having discussions with additional agencies to continue to partner with stakeholders to reach more young people with more innovative solutions.
So, you are the person for me to talk to about nominating Aaron for a youth award.
Well, he told no. He
crossed it.
I just said that, I'm 36.
He aged like me.
Well, they age out.
Yeah, age out.
Yeah.
But you could nominate some other young persons.
Alright, yeah. Because I know, well, being on the only 100% total local radio station, and Aaron being one of the, if not the youngest member.
I actually am the youngest.
Well, also there are opportunities to nominate organizations. So I mean, this will have to be for next year, but there's opportunities to nominate organizations.
Yeah, excellent stuff, man.
Yeah.
So Aaron, you might still get in, you know. You got to go in with the rest of the team, but you might still get in.
Wow. Once we get in, that is the important thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I smile at when Aaron reached out to me to come down here, because I said this is nostalgic for me coming at this, because I remember when the radio station launched. I remember when I first came down here. I remember when I first got my music played on the station. So I know the importance of this establishment, what it represents.
We can't get Kenny too much credit. We have a 2%
2% per show.
per show, yeah, and I think we reached that
Yeah,
already.
yes, this is going to be his favorite episode.
Yeah, because
This
he
is going to be his
get
favorite
plenty positive talk here, so he gonna like this episode.
Okay, I mean, but I think that he deserves it. I mean, I would say that he deserves it. He is an important pillar in the story.
Yeah. I'm excited about this episode in particular because, you know, with Java out and thing now.
Yeah.
Apparently July-August vacation. We don't do summer, and July-August too long. So they're saying Java now. We have a lot of kids, youth, adolescents, they're coming out of school. They're in between, they're in that season in between. They're in that space in between, and the idea is, alright, let me find a bookstore to work in, let me find a grocery to work in. There are programs out there, there are directions they could head in that might not be the conventional, but it seems to me as if the ministry is providing a myriad opportunities, directions.
So the goal is to impact close to 20,000 young people this fiscal year. And
Now, and I'm glad we talk young people, eh? And earlier you would have mentioned that you had to meet the young people where they are.
yeah,
And the place where the young people are is social media.
yeah.
When you came in here, Chris, when I came downstairs and met you, I see you walking upstairs with a tripod stand.
Yeah.
And then I saw a young man walking up behind you. And I was like, oh, this is probably the one. You just brought somebody along with you for the company to drive from town because, as all you say, the town people think Sandofa.
It is fun.
Right? But then when now the young man came up the step and entered the studio, pull out a camera one time. And I was like, but wait, there's a social media episode?
Yeah, well, you have to document the story. It's critical to document the story, and if you don't tell your story, then you get somebody else the opportunity to tell it. So I think it's critical for us to continue to tell our stories because oftentimes people tell the story from their perspective, and we need to have both sides. And so while somebody say they don't know about the stuff the ministry is doing, I said, nah, look at this content I put out here. I've been sharing it. We come down all in south, quite down south.
I say quite
Down south.
Right down south.
Right down south. And yeah, we had an episode here, look the footage here, we spoke about these things. And also to me, when I document the journey of the minister, the ministry, all my colleagues and I, it gives us two opportunities. One, to look back at what we did, and two, also to look back at what we said, to see if we meet those expectations, if things need to change, if we need to change the message, if we need to change the direction, because sometimes when I look back at what Minister said at the start of this fiscal year, I would say that we are achieving what he set out to do. But if I don't have that recorded anymore, we can look back at it and understand that this is somebody who would have set forth this mission and this goal, and how are we doing to achieve that? And so that's why it's important for me to reach out to the young people via the social media to show them. Because sometimes they say nothing is happening, but I am sure now that is less true for them, because they see that we do any posts, we have some viral content, we do the social media ads, so it's important to reach them, and I think we're reaching them.
Now, I know Ricardo itching to say something here, but one of the things that really caught my eye during your tenure as the chairman of the Tunapuna Corporation was the work that you did in documenting the Tunapuna market. And I think it says, I love Tunapuna.
Yeah, Tunapuna market is love.
Tunapuna market is love. That caught me there, because I remember my fond memories of toting market bag with mommy.
Yeah, the toting market bag.
On a Saturday morning in Sando Market. And seeing that being documented as to the different things you could get at the market. And when I say the market, I'm not talking the produce section in the supermarket. I'm talking about the market, where you could buy cheese that they cut in with string.
Market cheese.
Market cheese. You know about market cheese, Ricardo?
Well, so back in my day, right, the whole market was the produce section one, right? I know I'm growing up in Marabella, the market was behind the racetrack, heading in that direction. So I talking about market, not the fancy establishments we see coming up now, and market as this social place of trade, and we're talking about market. All it's smelling is crocus, provision, and dust. Because it's crocus bag, right? You know, market bags now that this Balenciaga and them selling for thousands of dollars. and that we used to, if you get that, you're good, because now you don't have to fight up with the brown bag, right? Yeah, I know what you're talking about here, Ron.
But for me, so when I got involved in politics, and I was asked the question, and I put up myself on a mission as a counselor in 2013. I wanted to continue my education, and not only academic education, but to educate myself about the people and the customs. And in that journey, going to Tunapuna, I used to go to Rima Market, so my first set of visits to the Tunapuna Market would have been as a representative. And instead of taking the high approach as saying that I already know, I went there to try to continue my education and try and learn about the people of Tunapuna and the market. So for me, when I finished that education, or I finished that stage of education, and then I went to become the chairman, I felt that it was only important that I put a marker down as saying that for other people who want to be educated about the Tunapuna market, here is something that somebody has put down. So it's a unselfish way of establishing a way forward for the others who have to follow, because in those episodes, I was hardly in any of those episodes. It was basically showing a lot of the vendors, about the customs, hearing their stories, because during COVID, we lost a lot of market vendors because they were older people. And so I got some of that impetus when, because all these stories would have been lost. And so how can we document this education? Because there is education in that. And there are reasons why we do particular things, and if we ignore that education, I think we will be losing an important part of, because there's a reason why some things are how they are. And why we want to change things, there's also reasons to keep things, set some things in place, because we don't know what that type of education is protecting us from. So people say it's expensive to eat, which I agree. Things that, but if you start to go in the market, you will realize that your dollar could stretch in the market, and also talking to them. So there's Dr. Shango, he's a PhD from UWI, who is also a market vendor. He sells plants and stuff, and I talk to him, and he said this is a academic man who is also a market vendor. And so you have those types of experiences there, and you understand that those stories and that experience, that culture you get in the market, it's keeping us grounded. And so we have to find a way to bring that in the modern age, and that was what that campaign is about.
And
before I forget again, I want to take the moment to acknowledge two local heroes in agriculture: Alpha Senon, Agriman, right, and Ras Commander. The man say, data planter, you never go hungry, you know. The data farmer, you never go hungry.
Calypso,
Ras Commander. Yeah. Right, so I just want to acknowledge that when this man say he's an academic and he's still planting, at the end of the day he's still a technician. That's the field that he's practicing his craft in. Right? But he's also academic. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, and so in all the education that we involved in, whether it be education on the local level, as I say, those type of stuff that we did in the market, or education in terms of changing the academic level of the young people who we put into UWI and UTT with the youth and agriculture programs. The kind of scientists we have at UTT and UWI who are both local and international people who are at UWI, it's amazing. And so as we continue to develop these programs and impart the knowledge on these 1,500 new youth farmers, maybe everybody wouldn't be Messi or Ronaldo or Mbappe, but I think in the end we'll have a good team of players to move the country forward in terms of being sustainable.
We'll have a Spain.
Well, yeah, I don't follow the Euros, but yeah, we'll have a Spain.
I mean, the Spain does have some of the best talent in the world, you know, and let me not look that aside.
And so, oftentimes we, in our pursuit to be stars, we just do work with the team.
At the team,
right. And that's something that we have at the Ministry of Youth. And while the star there is definitely the minister, what he has assembled is a strong team to help him deliver. So we try our best to bring the ball up and follow his direction, and of course we score, and a score and a goal for us is to impact the youth. And that's what we do as a team.
I love this, you know.
Yeah, you must love it, Aaron. Yeah, you were right about yet another guest, Aaron. Well done,
Wow.
well done.
No, not from that. In terms of, I love it from the aspect that the focus is the youth.
Yeah.
The focus is, as you said, the goal was 20,000 youth this fiscal year.
As close to that as possible.
And I think you all could surpass that.
Yeah.
The number of programs may not allow that because you said it's 27?
27, yeah.
27 programs and each one might have 250. The maths,
Yeah.
The maths are off duty here and want to do no maths and
But
bureau.
no, but
Cycles.
we also impacted, besides cycles, we also impacted additional people. So when you get land, it's your family impacted.
Right.
Right.
So we have the knock-on effect, which the people at M&E in the ministry, Ms. Charlande, Ms. Washington, they working on the M&E working on tracking the studies to see how many people they actually touch.
Yeah.
And that was a question that I didn't have put forward that just came out and I love that. The data is being documented somewhere.
Yeah. So
I'm a huge advocate of documenting the process. I already taken note of the camera that he's using there because I ready to upgrade my documentation game too. Right, so-
document,
But social media, we get down to close to the end of the program. So I just want to ask you a couple questions on a personal level
Yeah, of
now,
course.
right? Has social media been a thing that you was into before, or did you get into it because you fell into the Ministry of Youth and that's how to meet the youth?
No, so when I was at chairman of the corporation, I would have done, so people know the tune-up on the market as well from social media. We didn't do any TV ads or anything like that. And at the Ministry of Youth, the minister is very clear on his strategic objectives. So he set out the game plan and we just executed it. So in terms of what you're seeing at the Ministry of Youth content, has definitely minister comments. At the party level for all the work are doing, we meet as a central executive and that kind of game plan come out. And I am trying to be as good as possible as working with the team, and what I provide is energy. So I will go tonight, come down here, go in the morning, record again. I am good at keeping the energy for the tasks that we have to complete. But this rollout you're seeing here is definitely minister comments.
I tell you last night, I'm like, Cardo, do the responsible thing. See who it is coming on the program. I say, let me take a look, let me take a follow. I start to look through, I say, but wait. I say, look, this man is working. This man is working. So check my phone just now and I see 5 new posts since I started to follow last night. I say, this man is working. This team is working. 5,000 plus video posts.
Yeah. So for the day I would have posted yesterday's video, which was the app. I would have posted. We have some UNESCO delegates who going away to our university for 2 weeks. We posted that. We posted the pipe launch.
Right.
So, and I'm going to post some photos from yesterday also tonight. If the photographer send the link. So, I mean, we try to keep abreast of it. And because if we don't tell the story, the next story will be told, which is there's nothing for you. And we know that is a lie.
And as they get to tell that story, it does take time.
Energy.
Right? So you only have 24 hours in the day, just like anybody else who's in this room or who's listening to WACK 90.1 FM right now. How do you balance your job, your political career, your family life, as well as your personal things that you want to accomplish on your own? How you find the time to balance all those different things?
Well, the key for that is having a good wife. That's paramount, and I am honored and blessed to have a wife like Shelly. And she, of course, does a lot of heavy lifting home, and I don't think they would ever fully be balanced. I think there's more harmony, as my friend David says. So we can't balance it because I hear now in South. So we had a family commitment tonight, and to make this interview, we just moved the whole family commitment to South.
To a great part of the country.
Yeah, quite down South.
Yeah.
Right down south.
Right down South. So
Right.
I think having the woman who I have as my wife helps me to do those things, so that some of the things that we have on the home, she does a good job of covering some of my rules and all, and sometimes she allows me to come in with the confetti.
Right.
Daddy rich, and so having that, and also it helps to have a good team, because sometimes, so I would have done a study trip to China, and so people had to cover my roles back at the ministry. So having a good team around, it's critical. So I don't think it'll ever really balance, but just having people to work with and to build with. And then you also have to understand that sometimes you just have to spend some more time home. So like there was the Gospel Music Awards on Sunday. which I was invited to, and I just had to take the decision to just stay home and spend a little extra hour up with my family. Because it would take me leaving home a little bit earlier to reach down here for 5-6 o'clock.
Right.
So just spend the extra 2 hours home. I went and, went downstairs and play a little football with my son in the yard, and then come upstairs and lie down. So sometimes you just have to decide that I wouldn't go this weekend in ministry as retreat, so I'm not here this weekend. So you just have to find the ways to keep it in harmony. It's never going to fully balance, but I think it's also important for our children to see us work hard. I think it's also a gift to them to see their father, especially if I have a boy, 6-year-old, and I think it's important for him to see me work hard. So I want him to see me working hard, because that's part of my crime plan, is to have a good son. And so for him to see me working hard is critical, because that is a gift that we could give our children, that it don't cost nothing. You actually get paid to work hard, so and that's how I see it. But it's difficult.
You still write music, aren't you? Because you have lyrics,
Yeah,
you have some lines there, no bars.
I think as I was telling Teresa, I was by Teresa before I came here, and I was telling her that I think words are important.
Yeah.
So I try to think about what I say. I think words are important, and plenty was fought over arguments and confusion, and so if I try to be, if you are able to articulate yourself well, then you might save yourself from many wars. So I no longer write music, but I try to, in my daily life, try to articulate myself in a manner that prevents wars and make more peace.
I could appreciate that, man.
Yeah, anything you want to ask Ricardo? Because we're getting perilously close to the hour of 7 p.m.
Listen, when I have questions, I have questions. Every now and again I have a comment. And in this case, the idea of balance being not really balance, but harmony, there is also rhythm. And when you mention that, sometimes you just have to spend the time. Now, I know it's important for your son to see you work hard, but it's also important for your son to see you.
Of course.
So being able to to take things off the plate, to make sure that you're in the places that you can be when you need to be there. Isn't, as a man, right, we often feel obligated, motivated, we feel the weight of our absence. So we just have to do and produce and stretch ourselves thin. And any time that you would normally take to recollect yourself or to re-energize or refresh, you had to dedicate that time to something else. So the idea of slowing down or stopping long enough to spend some quality time with your family, I applaud that.
Yeah, and I think if you think that your word's important, then if you just listen to other people on your team, then you'll kind of get the idea of what the wife need, what the son need, and so you just put everything in harmony and rhythm in that way, because we have to work hard. That is critical for a good life, and so finding the harmony within it, because for my son, I want to keep him in particular activities that cost money. So as I tell them, it is my intention to spend as much time working to develop and to gain further opportunities, further promotion, so that I can provide him with additional opportunities. And sometimes, so for me, sometimes I feel that, and I mean, it's rhythm. So sometimes I feel that he's not spending time with me, he's very close to his mother, but then I realize that when he asks me something like that, he have the meetings today. He started to recognize and appreciate the work that you're doing. So there's also, and so I had to make additional decisions. So one of the decisions I make is, so in the past two years, last year, I no longer drink when I'm out. I don't drink at all. I don't consume alcohol, but it's not because I don't like to drink. But when I drink, I do more time when I get home, and I get up later the next morning, and the half an hour later that I might get up might be time that I could brush his hair, or ask him how his day was. So those decisions were simple decisions. I like to drink my Angostura, so but again, I had to make the decision. Do I want to do that, or do I want to conserve every ounce of energy to try to keep my life in more rhythm? And I'm not saying people who drinking bad. I just saying that for me, I had to make that decision, and so it's just continuously making those decisions to try to provide more harmony at home.
Appreciate that, man. It's not always a lime, is the recovery.
Yeah, it's the recovery.
When they get up there in age.
When they get old.
Post youth.
Post youth. So we establishing today that from 17 to 35 is youth.
10 to 35.
10 to 35 is youth.
Yeah.
From 35 to 45 is post youth.
University youth.
Yeah, right. From 46 to 55 is adulthood.
There's no moving the goalpost.
Yeah, we had to move the goalpost. Come on, because I want to stay current too. You know?
Right.
I want to stay relevant.
I DJ.
Right. Kwasi, I want to thank you very much for making the trip right down south. Right down south. To join us and tell us about the programs that the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service is offering. As you said before, you can check out their website or their social media pages.
Of course, yeah.
Everything is there, and they post very regularly.
Yeah.
As Ricardo said, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day.
5 times, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. That's real plenty, right?
But that means a lot of work.
That means a lot of work that's going on, and we need to capture that work, document it, so that you could go back on the TikTok page 4 years down the road and see what was done in 2024. Right? So I want to thank you not just for joining us here today, but also for the work that you do for the youth of Trinidad and Tobago. And we will be reaching back out to you when it's Youth Week.
Yeah, for sure.
For our representative to come back to tell us what activities are in store for Youth Week. And also, even though Ricardo and I are post-youth, we will try our best to attend at least one of the events within San Fernando.
Okay, for sure.
And well, if the Panman there, well, I don't think I have a choice but to be there.
Shameless plug, you know. And,
What?
and so as not to intimidate the youth with my greenness, I will use whatever Aaron has used to keep his beard.
I don't use anything. I use absolutely nothing.
I will smell in shoe polish and die, you know. But alright, brother, I hear you.
There's a trick, you could just shoot.
Nah, I can't do that, bro. I can't be bald on top and have a beard. Like, well, what were they telling me the last time I did? Like a kingpin, I think it was.
Oh yeah, but he looked like Kingpin, you know. Yeah, which one? Wait, let me mind my business.
So, guys, in closing for me, I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak about the opportunities that we have at MYDNS. I also want to thank my minister, the Honorable Foster Cummings, for the opportunity to impact the lives of young people, and for everybody who would have given the support, including Kenny Phillips, over the years. For us to reach where we are now, we appreciate and thank you, and to the communities that know that they are there to me, the Lahokata, the Tunapuna, the East West Corridor, where I am from. I continue to do the work and continue to impact as many of the young people as we can, and the journey continues.
Well, I want to thank you for making the time and for taking this opportunity. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
It's, when you do this as regularly as we do every now and again, you have one of those conversations that stands out and it just shifts you a degree or two. And I believe that this was one of those for me, so thank you for that. Thank you to the cameraman, because I know I'm going to look up that model, because I really looking to upgrade my game now, and he look like he know what he doing, so big up you, King.
Big up.
Right. But, this is Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage on the global stage. Thanking you guys for joining us in the living room. Remember guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Aaron?
And this is your shitty DJ Aaron868. I tell you each and every time that culture is my code, and I remind you that love is the currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know you love them, guys. Mr. Desmond is up next with the big band, and because we do Christmas in July here on WACK, I have to end with my brethren Keegs. I don't know if he falls into the category of youth or post-youth, but he's going to tell us to come by you.
Oh, no, 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 no.